Hi there, Becky here from 168 Fitness. Over the past few weeks I've been talking about achieving your New Year health, fitness and weight loss goals, and in particular last week I was talking about weight loss goals and coming up with a plan of action for achieving those. So if your goal is weight loss and you didn't watch last week's video, then I suggest you go back. There's a link under this video. You can go back and watch it, and then that will give you the help to get started. If your goal is more fitness related, then you may want to watch this video to find out how to achieve your fitness goals this year. So I'm going to talk about general fitness. I will cover running in particular next week. So this week is just kind of about general fitness and yeah, just improving kind of your general cardio fitness potentially. So there are various ways you can do that, and I think I did mention this last week when I was talking about doing some exercise. The key thing here is that you know your goal. So if your goal is running and you want to get better at running and fitter for running, and you want to be able to run a certain distance or in a certain time, then you're going to have to run. That's very clear. You've got to actually train and run to be able to run. It makes sense, doesn't it? Simple. So that's something I'm going to cover in more detail next week. Running is great for most people if you're kind of able-bodied and not really struggling with your knees or joints or bones or anything like that, and also that if you don't hate running. Like, some people really don't like running, and that's fine. You don't have to run to get fit. Running is just a great form of exercise that you can do that will get you really fit in a shorter space of time, but there's loads of other options if you really don't want to run. If you don't fancy going out in the cold, if you don't actually like the feeling of running, or it makes you feel too out of breath, or whatever it is. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it, but if you do want to do it and you want to get better at running, then that's great. Come back next week and find out how to do that if you haven't already started. This week though, I'm going to talk about some other options. So if your goals is cardio fitness, then similar to running is an option. For beginner, anyone who's just starting out, for any beginners, then what would be really good is to start off with some walking. If you're going from absolutely nothing, you've not done any exercise in quite a long time, then walking is a fantastic low impact, so it's not going to hurt the joints. It's going to be nice and manageable for you. You're not going to get too out of breath. You are going to feel the benefits there. Your legs are going to be working. Total body workout really, because you're having to move your whole body at the same time. Does burn some calories, obviously not as many as some higher intensity forms of exercise, but the key thing here is getting you started, getting those muscles working, elevating your heart rate a little bit, but not too much that it feels out of control or uncomfortable, but just, yeah, moving the body basically. That's what walking is really good for, getting you started. I like doing walking, even though I run often on my recovery days. That's my active recovery, going for a nice walk, and I love it because it just feels that little bit more manageable, and it's enjoyable, probably more so than going out for a run where you're sort of heavy breathing the whole time, and yeah, it's hard work basically. So walking is really good, especially if you're beginner level, coming with zero level of fitness currently. Walking is a great place to start, and even just doing a walk around the block, 10 minutes, whatever you can manage. Obviously building up would be good to be able to run sort of 20-30 minutes, maybe even an hour at a weekend. That's fantastic. So that would be my advice. If you are starting off, then going for some walks, it would be really good. Try and give yourself a bit of a goal for the week, maybe as a whole. So maybe I don't know, 2 or 3 hours in total for the whole week, and that can be spread up into split up into smaller chunks, and then maybe a longer one at the weekend when you've got a bit more time perhaps. But yeah, just try and get out on your lunch break, or after work, or whenever you can fit it in, and just start moving a little bit more. So that's a really good starting point. Then if you're looking to progress a little bit more, then you may be interested. I have talked before about mini trampoline exercise. Obviously I do love that, and I strongly recommend that to a lot of people because, again, low impact, so it's not going to hurt the joints. Something you can do inside, so if the weather's not very good or if it's icy outside, something that you can do in front of the TV or in the warmth of your own home. Also means you can fit it in more often, because if you've got childcare issues, you can be on the trampoline at the same time as looking after the kids, or you could be watching your favourite TV programme as well at the same time. If you wanted to turn that into a bit more of a workout, I have a couple of fitness DVDs, bounce DVDs available to buy on Amazon. That would give you some instructions and ideas on what you can be doing on the trampoline. But it is really as simple as just either bouncing on it or running on it, moving on it basically, doing whatever you can at the level you're at currently. For sort of 10 minutes minimum potentially, building up to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I wouldn't say necessarily any longer than 30 minutes, but it's entirely up to you. What building up would be good, and the more you do on there, obviously the fitter you're going to get, the stronger you're going to get, and more calories you're going to burn as well. So that would be another example. Then obviously you've got your usual kind of cycling, swimming. If you're happy doing solo exercises, they're really good for fitness. It does depend what your goal is. If you want to get better at swimming, then that's obviously what you need to do to get better at it. If you're just looking for something that you enjoy, then obviously swimming's not for everyone, because you've got to get in the pool, you're going to get wet, you're going to get your hair wet potentially, you've got to get out the pool, you've got to get ready for whatever you're doing next. It does take up a lot more time potentially to do swimming, but if that's what you enjoy, then make the time to do it. Go early doors if you need to before work, or even just doing it once a week at a weekend when you've got a bit more time. That's always good as well. You can mix it up a little bit, do a bit of everything. Cycling as well, this time of year, it's not necessarily the best time of year to start cycling because it's cold, but if that's what you enjoy, then you might want to go out and get on your bike and do that. All good exercises. Again, both of those are low impact as well for people with previous injuries or any joint or bone problems. Or if you're beginner level as well, just something that you can control the pace of, and you're not worried about not being able to keep up with people. If you, however, want something a bit more like group activity, something to keep you accountable, obviously booking onto a fitness class, lots available locally in various locations and different gyms and everything, leisure centres. So find something that you actually enjoy. Now, I'm going a little bit off topic, it's not necessarily the action plan, but hopefully it'll give you something to think about, is that if you've done an exercise before, or perhaps you've been a member of a gym before, nothing wrong with gyms and nothing wrong with classes and that they put on, but if you've done that before and then actually you've dropped off, you've stopped for one reason or another, then maybe try something different. That would be my advice, because if you do, what's the saying? If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. I think that's something like that. You know what I mean? In that, if you signed up before and you paid your money and signed up for a membership, but then actually you didn't get the use of it and you stopped going because you didn't enjoy it, or you couldn't make the time for it, or whatever, it was too hard and whatnot, then there's no point going back to doing that same activity again, because what's the chances of anything having changed? Like, yes, your children might be older now, your work might have changed, then if your circumstances generally have changed, then you may want to go back to that activity. If you did actually enjoy it but you just couldn't do it at the time, that's fine. But if it was more that you got bored, it was too hard, didn't want to do it, weren't making the time for it, if you're making excuses, then I would suggest trying something else, because it's unlikely that you're going to suddenly enjoy whatever it is you were trying before and make a go of it this time. It's just going to cut out like a bit of time, and also you're going to feel like I don't want you to feel like you're failing at something. Starting something, not keeping it up, wasting your money, wasting your time, wasting your effort, it's not a nice feeling. So go with something that you actually think you'll enjoy, give it a try. Sign up to something that you actually want to do, you're willing to make the time for, you can afford it, fits with your schedule. That's what I would suggest. And obviously that's where someone like I come in with personal training. I'll always try and make sure you enjoy it, just through even just the social side of it with our small group sessions or with our one-to-one sessions. talking to you, making sure you're comfortable, making sure you're doing exercises that you actually want to do and that they're going to help you achieve your goals, and that it's the right level for you. That's when personal training is really good, especially for beginners, but also for people that want to push themselves a little bit more, because that's where a PT can come in to make sure that you are working as hard as possible. So there's lots of options there, and I know you'll know that there's plenty more options out there to choose from, but the key thing to think about is when you're thinking about your fitness goals, what do you want to achieve? And you're probably going to have to do that activity more times than not to get those results. And yes, it's good to mix it up a little bit. I like using a cross trainer. I also do some strength and conditioning work in the gym, as well as doing my running. That helps complement my running. I'll sometimes use a trampoline as well if I don't want to go outside and run in the cold. But you more times going to have to do what you actually want to get better at. You're going to have to do that to get better at it. Makes sense, doesn't it? Simple, not necessarily easy. So think about what actually you want to get fitter, how you want to get fitter. Think about what you enjoy, what time you've got available, what your budget is, what your schedule is, etc. Those sort of things as well for your fitness goals. And then go and do it. Just start doing it, whether it's running, walking, swimming, cycling, trampoline, buy the DVD, sign up to the personal training, join the gym, whatever it is that you have decided you want to do. That's your action plan. Commit to it and get started. And then you've just got to be consistent with it. That's the next step, which we'll get to in a few weeks' time. But yeah, when you start something, you're going to need to do it for a few weeks at least to feel the benefits. And then you're going to have to keep going to keep getting more benefits and to keep feeling fitter and stronger and everything as well. So get started. Next week I'll be back with info about how to start running and achieving your running goals this year. And then in future weeks we're going to talk about the next steps and how you can keep progressing. So get started this week. If you've got any questions, please do get in touch. We'd love to help. Or if you're interested in personal training with me at 168, then I would of course love to help you get fit and achieve your 2019 goals. So I'll see you next week.